shark. Get down, Paji. Okay, and this is my friend. Is Chamkila Singh is his name. Chamkila Singh is actually a species of shark they call dwarf lantern shark, which are capable of glowing in the dark. And these species of sharks don't grow too big. Their maximum size is around 20 cm. So they are the small sharks. You know, there are many types of species that are actually quite small. They won't grow bigger. So today I and Chamkila have a story for you guys. Okay. So I hope this story will be able to inspire you guys. So let's jump into it. So let me tell you the story while tying pagar. So this story is about a town called Garapur. Gara means mud in Punjabi. So this town is something like Bikini Bottom in SpongeBob lah. So here, this town was famous for a group of frogs that lived there in the mud. Okay, so this group of frogs had this attitude where they were actually very competitive in a very negative way. They like to put each other down, okay, and they always like to compete who is the smartest and maybe who is the strongest, right? So they were very competitive and they like to make fun of each other and they don't like to support each other to be successful, okay, and they were very afraid of losing, you know, and they also like to make fun of each other when the other frogs lose, right? So they had very big ego in them, and this was basically the attitude of all the frogs over there. They like to compete a lot and they always had a lot of competitions in their village. Okay? See, I'm wearing green today because frogs are green. Actually, I had the same color that matches this t-shirt, but it's in KL right now. So sad, half of my turbans are over there. Right? Okay. So let's continue with the story. And one day, the chief of Garapur, the fattest frog ever, he always bragged that he's the fattest. Nobody can defeat his fat. So he had his own competition over there. And so they wanted to organize another competition. Okay? And this is the most difficult competition ever organized in that village of Garapur. Okay? So in this competition right now, there is a tall tree, the tallest tree, because humans haven't cut the tree yet. So we humans will be destroying the forest soon, but this tree was untouched yet. So it was still providing oxygen to the planet. So there was a tall tree, a very very tall pokok pinang. See, I'm from Penang, so yeah. So then the competition was to actually climb the tree, and the frog that gets to climb first would be the winner, right? So now these frogs will be competing for the winner who gets to climb the tree first, right? So, and at the end, what they will get, the gift is actually nothing, but they want to compete so that they can show in their village, the Garapur, that they are the strongest, that they can climb a tree. So now we all know naturally frogs are not made to climb tree, but yeah, they can climb small trees, but they don't live up above the trees like monkeys do, right? And definitely competing to climb the tree first would be a difficult task for a frog because they haven't trained ever before for that. Okay, So now this is something new for them. So all these frogs have 2 days to get ready. So they start getting ready. Now you can hear my neighbor fixing something on top there. Now only you want to fix something. So these frogs have 2 days to get ready. So they do all kind of pumping lah, jumping lah, jogging lah, to get their stamina. And some started practicing climbing the trees over there. So then, okay, before I talk about what happens on the competition day, today you can see my beard is open, right? So today is my free the beard day. So 1 week once I must have a day where I free my beard and let it go like this. And those days I could go out with this beard, but now we have to wear the face mask and everything, so we always tie. And tying your beard all the time is not good for your skin, for the shape of your beard, and it's very hot, So at least once a week you should let it open, maybe, and shampoo your beard twice a week when you wash your hair at least, right? So take care of your beard. Don't let this COVID spoil your beard, because every time we have to keep tying. And also people who are working, when we go to the offices, we have to be very neat and we have to tie our beard. So at least when you're at home now, let your beard go free, right? Bebas. So on the competition day, all these frogs started lah. I am the best frog ever. I am the fastest climber. I'm the strongest climber. So all these frogs, thousands of frogs came there to compete. Okay. So all the frogs gathered up and came the Ketua Kampung Brebet. So Brebet said, start. So all these frogs started pushing each other. In order to win, right, they have to destroy each other, right? That's the attitude, right? So they started pushing each other and started competing and climbing, pulling each other's leg so that they fall down. And then halfway, a number of frogs dropped. Okay? A number of frogs dropped, and the time they dropped down, they were like, actually the tree was too high. Actually the tree was too slippery. That is why. So a group of them that was fallen, so they started agreeing to each other. Okay, so they started blaming the situation lah. It was too windy and stuff like that. So then, some frogs saw that these frogs dropped, and then these frogs, the frogs that saw also, they felt like it might be a bit difficult to do this. Should I continue? They started having the thoughts whether should they continue or not, right? So they started feeling like less confident. Then they started dropping, and when they came down, they were like, this is impossible. How we are supposed to climb a tree when we are frogs, right? This is not a suitable competition for frogs. Suitable competition should be something like jumping the highest, having the longest tongue, or whatever it is, catching the most mosquitoes. So they started feeling like demotivated, and they started making noise. They started saying to the frogs that are still climbing that it is too hard. So they started telling that it is too hard, and more frogs fall. And the whole gang that have fallen started shouting to the frogs which were still above to come down. And they started saying that enough lah, right, enough. you're still gonna drop only. We also drop, we are quite strong, but we drop, right? So you guys are gonna drop too. This is impossible. Don't waste your time. Leave it. Right? So more frogs started dropping because they started hearing all these negative comments. And they started laughing at each other. Right? They started saying, you think you can do I don't think you can do lah. So the frogs below started saying to the frogs above, look at you, your legs are so small. Other frogs may be able to do it, but I don't think you can do it. So they started demotivating all the frogs. Right? So more and more frogs are dropping, and all the frogs that drop are demotivating the frogs that are above, that are still climbing and still trying. And then the frogs that were above started thinking like, yeah, I'm too tired also. It's quite hard, right? I don't think I can continue with this. And they started giving up, jumping down all the way. But there was this one frog that didn't stop. Since the beginning itself, his eyes was just looking up, and he kept going. He kept going and going and going and going and going. And at the end, he was the only one left. Okay? And the destination was still a bit far. Okay? And all the frogs below made so much of noise, and they were like, done is done, bro. The higher you go, the harder you're gonna fall. Why are you doing all this? Waste of time. Right? So they say nobody is going to win this competition because it's impossible. But that frog, that one particular frog, he kept going. He didn't hear them. He kept going and going and going, and he finally reached the top. And everybody were like, oh wow. Okay? Everybody were like, this can be done? I don't believe that. Right? And that frog is so weak. Like, he is like nothing in our town. Nobody even knows the frog. Who is he? How come he is so strong? Right? So they started saying all that, and then they waited for the frog to come down. So the frog came down. And the frog that won was questioned by everyone. Even the fat rabbit, even he was puzzled that this competition is supposed to be very difficult, right? Especially for fat frogs like him. But this competition is supposed to be very difficult for every single frog. The tree was quite high, right? And they asked him, like, how you did that? So they questioned him how you did that. And you know what was his reply? He said, excuse me, I can't hear. I am deaf. And they were all like, was shocked because that frog was actually deaf. And he won because he couldn't hear the negative comments that were coming from the people below. Not people, actually, like frogs below. So, which is why he managed to reach the top, because he was not listening to the negative comments that were coming. He thought they were cheering up for him. So he take it positively. He took out the negative comments positively. He thought that, people down there are actually making noise, and they actually, encouraging us to win the competition. So which is why he was so inspired, because of the thought that he had, okay, about the people below, right? So he became successful because he didn't hear negative comments. So the moral of the story here is, if you want to do something, there will be many people in your life, okay, that will demotivate you. Not only people, there will be situations where actually, situation like now, COVID, right? Many people are, having a lot of problems in their life, and it's not easy for the whole world, right? You see? So the moral of the story is, always focus on the motivation, not the demotivation that you have in your life. Okay? There can be many people demotivating you, but if you choose to ignore them and be the deaf frog, you will win, right? You will reach your destination no matter what, no matter how hard it is, no matter what people tell you that it is impossible or whatever it is. You will reach your destination because you believe in yourself. Okay, and you avoid the negativity, and you are positive for yourself. Just listen to the positive comments, and maybe God will be there to help you out with your goals in life. So during this pandemic, I know it's not an easy time. It's not easy time for me too, but we are all struggling. Let's not demotivate. Okay, let's motivate each other instead of demotivating, and move forward. So this is not a bedtime story. This is a good morning story. A story that you hear in the morning before you move to do something productive in your life. So I think that's all from me. And one more thing that I would like to say is, please remember the farmers that are in India, that are fighting for their rights. Just remember them in your prayers and pray for them that no matter how hard it is, they stay strong. Okay? So that's all from me for today. This is the shark, keeping you sharp.